Hey, hope you're doing all right. On this episode of the Geek Press podcast, Lewis and I are going to talk about our experience with God of War and the upcoming game that everyone seems to be enamored with, as well as the current situation going on with Twitter and all the drama that's been happening there. If you enjoy this content, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment and rate us and, tell us how you think we're doing and how you're doing. Hello, and welcome to a brand new episode of the Geek Press podcast. This is episode 29. We're so old, we're reaching our midlife crisis. I'm very excited about that. I am Noah Garcia, and today with me, I have my lovely co host, Lewis. Hey, Lewis.
Hi.
How do you do?
I'm doing pretty solid. Um, yeah, doing pretty good. What about you? How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty liquid. So we just need a third person to be gaseous, and then we have three forms of matter because you matter to me. See, that's wordplay. I'm
Hmm?
very clever and I'm very smart.
Oh, I
So,
fucking hate you.
you know what? I respect this hatred. Let it grow within you. What? Mm-hmm.
I was watching a TikTok. So do you want to know why Mace Windu only fought General Grievous like once?
Why?
So apparently General Grievous, obviously he's like a cyborg,
Mm-hmm.
pretty much borderline robot at this point, and when he fights, he learns your style as he
Mm-hmm.
goes, and that's what makes him. It's one of the reasons why he's extremely dangerous. So, for all of you who
Mm-hmm.
don't know, Mace Windu, his fighting form is like called it's like the forbidden form
Mm-hmm.
because it blurs the line between light and dark side, and most people who use this form succumb to the dark side. But Mace Windu is the exception because he is. And
Mm-hmm.
the one time he had fought General Grievous, he realized halfway through the fight, oh fuck, he's starting to pick up on my style.
Mm-hmm.
And if General Grievous learns this style, there is nothing that will stop him. And
Yeah.
so Palpatine was like, okay, we need to make sure these two guys never fight. And
Mm-hmm.
at the same time, we have to make sure he never fights Anakin. Because if he fights Anakin, he's gonna pick up on his style. So that's a canonical reason uh, of why Mace Windu never only fought him like once, and why Anakin and Grievous never actually fought.
I think the fun behind the scenes reason being the fact that
Oh yeah.
I mean the fact that when apparently Anakin and Grievous first meet in episode 3 and he's just like, "Oh, you're shorter than I expected." Like they took that to heart. Like they never even met in the Clone Wars cartoon. They never met, which I think is very funny because like Grievous fights so many people. He fights like
He has a whole
Ahsoka,
like
Obi
arcs and
Wan.
everything.
Yeah, he has whole like how many you could build a list of people he's fought, but he's never fought Anakin. I think that's very funny.
Okay, but yeah, sorry about that.
No, it's okay.
We're
Speaking of things we've watched and listened to, is there anything lately that you've been, as we always start off our podcast, is there anything that you've been watching or listening to lately that's caught your eye?
let's see here. At the moment,
Mm-hmm.
no. I haven't really been watching anything too crazy. I've just been watching like
Mm-hmm.
as I was talking about, I was working on Mario Rabbids Sparks of Hope, and I'm done. I'm just waiting for final edits now.
Uh huh.
And I just these last couple like this last week, because I have like a monthly quota for myself. I'm like, by the end of the month, I have to make at least this much money, and I'll be comfortable. And I hit that quota already, and I was like, I've been kind of like chilling, you know. And I was like,
Mm-hmm. Like a
okay,
little break after all that work.
yeah. So I've just been kind of like video games, just watching like random
Mm-hmm.
episodes of like Family Guy here and there. Nothing too crazy, like nothing
Yeah.
really worth like saying, "Oh, here's what I watched." But I did. Elizabeth and I are watching Breaking Bad. I already watched it, but this is her first time,
Mm-hmm.
and we just finished season 4. So, and I'm like, oh, okay, this is fucking good. Like, I say this every time I talk about Breaking Bad, but the show it holds up incredibly well still, and the season 4 finale, I was brought back to high school Louis, and I remember watching that scene, like the final scene of that season, and I was like, holy fuck!
Mm-hmm.
And I just can't wait because like from here on out, it's just like they raise the bar until the show ends.
Yeah, and that's pretty cool. I respect that. I've never seen that show, but
Mm-hmm.
I've heard nothing but good things.
Yeah, it's one of my best shows and like one of my favorite shows I can recommend. What
As
about you?
for I was about to introduce myself. As for the things that I've been watching, this new song called "Girlfriend" by Hemlock Springs. I played 10 seconds of it for Lewis, and he hated it. But I would advise everyone else to go watch it because it's like weird techno pop. Like you'd probably hate it if you listen to the full song, but it's like weird, and I enjoy it. I enjoy like it has that sort of cadence, and I enjoy
Mm-hmm.
it. It feels like a pop techno song you would hear like in the background of like a commercial in Cyberpunk. You know what I mean? Like a shopping
Yeah,
commercial in Cyberpunk. Like that's like a vibe I got from it. So I say that even though I've never played Cyberpunk. I've just watched you stream it at
one of my favorite games.
what's that Joshua Joestar on Twitch. I'm
Yeah,
plugging you right now.
twitch.tv/ I'm Joshua.
See, I use my time to plug you
Mm.
because I'm a friend that cares.
Hey, that makes one of us.
That's our dynamic. But I just mentioned video games, Cyberpunk, fun. There's a game that's been up in the news lately for doing very well. It's very hotly anticipated. What game is
Uh
this,
huh.
Lewis?
God of War Ragnarok.
Ooh, I'm excited. I love the first God of War. I played it on my sister's PS4 back when she lived with us.
Did you
I
um
mhm.
did you ever play the original God of Wars?
You know what the thing is that I never played the original God of Wars.
Uh
So
huh.
this was my first introduction to the character. Like I had
Okay.
just as someone who's in kind of like the geek nerd space, pop culture space, I am aware of God of War. I know like he was done wrong by the gods and he
Of war.
snapped and spent like a million games just killing them all and like being killed and then being brought back and then killing more. I know like Zeus is his dad or something.
Yeah, so it's been a
Hmm.
while since I've played it, but I remember I played the first one back in the day.
Hmm.
Really liked it a lot.
Hmm.
I was a kid. I really didn't really understand the story too much. I was just like, yeah, gore, violence, rip his fucking guts out. Um, but it was really good, and the second one was really good too. But I stopped playing after God of War 2, but
Hmm.
it very much became one of those things where it was like uh almost like a Fast and the Furious thing, if you will. It's like they
Hmm.
just started making too many, and the further away from the original they got, like the argument could be made, the less in quality they became.
Hmm.
And it was like either you liked it or you didn't, but it was still one of the big PlayStation like icons, because it's been around since
Yeah.
the PS2 era. And yeah, I just remember playing those ones. I'm like, fuck, these are really cool though. I enjoyed. I can only talk on the first two. The only two I played.
Hmm.
And then when not Ragnarok, when God of War, I think it was like 2019, the one before Ragnarok came out.
I think
It,
it
it's
was like 2017, wasn't it? I'll look it
something
up while
like
you keep
that. Yeah.
talking.
Okay. Yeah. I was like, oh shit, they're like this is like a soft reboot in the story. It's gonna continue because at the end of the God of War, I think it was like for PS3 or yeah, it was
2018.
PS3. Oh, 2018. Okay.
Hmm.
Kratos like dies at the end because he's fighting Zeus, and
Hmm.
like him and his body, like Zeus and Kratos' body is like just on the floor, and then the camera pans back to the bodies, and Kratos is gone. And you're like, oh, he's alive. So again, I never played the original. Well, not the original, the last God of War. So I was like, okay, like, and I've heard nothing but great things about it. Like, it's such a
Hmm.
phenomenal game, and I want to get a PS5. Like, I want to play it, and
I,
I'm actually gonna like I don't not like right now, but like, when I get the opportunity, like if I when I see them in stock, I'm gonna buy a PS5 just so I can play it and I could use that as a tax write off.
because it's for work, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and that's important. I would love to have a job where one day I could buy nonsense and write it off as a tax write off. But
Uh-huh.
what I think is so interesting about the 2018 God of War is from what I've seen from those who've played the game before all that, is that it does the impossible of not only being a continuation of this character whose story has become so muddled and convoluted by other games, but seemingly also has become a fresh start for those who know literally nothing about the character. So I think it's interesting because you start off, if you know nothing about the game, with a very simple premise. This man, he has a mysterious background, he has a child, burning the mother, they get sent on a quest, and then as you play through the 2018 game, you slowly get hints. Like the dwarves are like, "What weapon is that? Like, where'd you get that?" And then you get hints of like when spoilers for the game, when he's like riding along trying to get medicine for his son, and there's like a storm, and you see like these Greek gods, like these visages of these gods, be like mocking him or like talking to him, and it's like it leads onto a greater story that makes you go, "Hey, I kind of want to revisit those old games to see what the hell's going on because this seems really interesting." So
Um,
I really enjoy that because I would hope that if you're a longtime God of War fan, this just adds to his own lore, and if you're not, then this just kind of like sparks your interest in the character.
yeah. So, like I was saying previously, when I saw the reviews for this, I was like, "Fuck! It's time for me to pull the trigger on the PlayStation." Like, because before this happened, I was gonna I think I told you this at a bar, because we're alcoholics and all we do is drink.
No,
Um,
I don't have the income for to be an alcoholic.
that's the thing about being an alcoholic. No one has the income, but we find a way to drink.
Okay,
But
but as you were saying,
yeah, I was just saying, I was gonna trade in my phone and get the Google Pixel, and I was like, fuck, okay, but then the reviews for God of War came out, and I was like, I only have room in the budget for one or the other. And I've been kind of debating. I'm like, what should do I get? Do I get the PS5 or do I get
mhm,
the phone? And then I was talking about it with my friend last night, and he was like, the way he said it, I was like, okay,
mhm,
I know which one I should get. He was like, what should you get? A brand new cell phone because you want one, or get the PS5 so you could use it for work?
mhm.
Which one should you? And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get the PS5.
I mean, yeah, there
And
are PS5 exclusives you could probably cover more.
exactly.
Mhm,
And so that's what I'm gonna do. And I was like, and it's one of those things too, even though I have an Xbox and I love my Xbox, I've
mhm.
always wanted a PlayStation. Like I've never been like, oh no, I'm pure Xbox.
Yeah, you're not like one of those purists. You're just like my console is the Xbox, but I can play other stuff.
Exactly, yeah. I've never played The Last of Us. I want to play The Last of Us. I've never played like God of War. Want to play God
Mhm,
of War and Spider Man. You know, there's a lot of stuff I don't have access to because I am a predominantly an Xbox player.
mhm.
But yeah, I've been religiously now looking at like restocks because I'm not gonna buy from a reseller. Fuck all that. And then I'm trying to see now because productions. I was watching this thing from a YouTuber named Destin.
Mhm.
He also works at IGN. Um, he reported that productions for like the PS5s have gone up like like I forget the exact number, but it was like they for a fourth quarter, especially because
Mhm.
of God of War just came out. They're they're like restocking them like fucking crazy. So
Mhm.
like right now, if anyone's trying to get a PS5, this is probably the best chance you will be able to get a PS5 straight from the source without without going to like a third party.
Yeah, and honestly, I mean, if God of War inspires you to get PS5, I get it because just to just to draw from IGN a little bit, they gave it a 10 out of 10.
Yeah,
Just just
yeah, that's another thing too. It
just to
got like
quote the review, just to quote the review that they put on Instagram. An enthralling spectacle to behold, and an even more exciting one to take the reins of. God of War Ragnarok melds action and adventure together to create a new, unforgettable Norse saga. And it's respectful of its legendary lineage while not being afraid to take it to a new, exciting places. Let me tell you, what makes a video game sequel good is if it adds to what works about the first game and expands on it. Like, for
mhm.
instance, I would say that we're not going to talk about the story of The Last of Us 2 because that's not what I'm talking about because I know it's controversial. but the gameplay definitely expands with crafting, with the enemies, with the maps layouts. So I would say in gameplay sense, it is successful. Like
Hmm.
another example I would give is I guess God of War. Like you look at it and you say, "Oh wow, it takes what works," and apparently they expand a lot on it. Kratos' power is a thing you can do with Artreus. Like the gameplay looks really good. I really enjoy the gameplay. So
Yeah.
everyone like at all sites, sorry, all sites I see online are giving it like a straight 10 out of 10.
Hmm.
So
And
I have,
honestly, too,
mhm.
I'll go for it. I keep interrupting you.
No,
Sorry,
it's okay,
sorry,
no,
sorry,
it's
sorry.
okay. No. I'm used to it. Just kidding. I just wanted to say that I feel like I don't know how the story is gonna be, but I know the gameplay is probably gonna be enjoyable.
Yeah, and when I knew they were making a God of War 2, I was like, Sony, even though I don't really like them as a company,
Uh-huh.
um, they they make some bangers. They know what they're doing,
Mhm.
and so it's like, fuck. Sometimes I gotta be a hypocrite.
You can kind of critique a company and still like the stuff they put out.
Yeah, that's a fine line we walk in a fucking what's it called, capitalist society,
Yeah.
right?
But no matter what, you can just be like, yeah, I don't like them, but I just had to get their game for work. Like, it's just my job. Like,
That's what I
that's your
love about being
excuse
a video
now.
games
Yeah,
journalist.
that's your
Yeah.
excuse now. You could like, let's say Bethesda does something awful and you still have to buy one of their games. You're just like, it's for work though. I don't know what to tell you. Sorry, guys. So what is there anything in particular you're looking forward to in Ragnarok?
uh, let's see here. Not necessarily. I mean,
Mhm.
if the combat is anything like the original ones, it was like a kind of like. Did you ever play like Devil May Cry?
No.
Have you ever seen gameplay of that?
I think I might have seen you play that once or twice. Have you played it on
I have to
stream?
think of. I may have.
Okay,
Well, Devil May Cry,
I've
like
seen some.
the combat is like it's very much like you walk into a room, bunch of enemies spawn in, kill them, build up your combo, and it's a
Mhm,
really fast paced game. But I know God of War probably a little bit slower than that, so I figured it's something like that. Like you walk into a room, kill a bunch of
mhm.
people, you do all your little cool combos, and you walk into the next room, kill a bunch of people, talk to someone, boss, blah blah blah, rinse and repeat, right? Kind of more or less.
That reminds me of
If I'm
Kingdom Hearts.
if I'm breaking it down to like it's like
Mhm,
basic cores. So yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I'm just looking forward to like a compelling story.
mhm.
Um because Sony Santa Monica, they when they rebranded God of War, I was genuinely impressed with the reviews. Because I was like, I was like, whatever, like they're just trying to this is like a money grab, you know? But I was wrong. I
Mhm.
would happily admit I was wrong. Because I never want a game to flop because like, the better games that like what's the word I'm looking for right here? Like this breeds competition. This
Yeah.
other studios look at this and like, oh fuck, okay, look at what they're doing. We have to do something better than now.
Mhm.
And I'm like, I like that. Give me more of that, you know?
I would like to hope that because I really do enjoy the story behind the 2018 God of War. I hope it's a
Hmm.
situation where they had a good story and they wanted to run with it, rather than they were
Hmm.
like, "Oh, we want to pump out a sequel because it's been some time." You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
Because the story is just so expansive within kind of the area that they're in with of Norse mythology, like the different realms with Vanheim and the different mini bonus quests and everything. So I would hope somebody that they were just like, we're really excited about this pitch. Let's do it. Let's revive this franchise, and they just kind of went all out.
Hmm.
Just this is a random tidbit. But I did you I you haven't played? Have you watched any of the games or anything?
Mm-mm. I when it comes to PlayStation,
Hmm.
I'm pretty ignorant
Hmm.
on a lot, and that's kind of like purposefully because like I knew
Hmm.
eventually I'm gonna get one. So
Yeah,
like I know like the main beats of The Last of Us 2. Like I
yeah.
know I know like what happens at the beginning, and I know the ending is like very ambiguous.
Hmm.
And then stuff like that, like Spider-Man. I know like the main beats, but I don't really know like the journey. If that makes
Yeah.
sense, you know.
What
So I
what
purposely stay away from that stuff just because I know eventually. You know what? Here, I'm gonna take off my headphones. You talk because I don't want to hear that. Then give me a thumbs up as soon as it's safe to
Oh
play
no, no,
that.
this will
Oh,
this will
okay.
not be I will not go into spoilers. there is a mini boss in the
Uh-huh.
game. There are 8 of them, and it's like this it hints to a larger story, and if you play the game, you know what I'm talking about. These mini bosses, you have to find them. They're in different areas, even in different realms, and they're very hard to beat. And it's like it's very tough. And I took some time fighting each one of them, but I hope they continue that story. I know this is silly to like want a continuation of a side quest in a main game, but I'm very excited for that.
Also, what I'm looking for to go back and answer your question too, what I'm
Mhm,
looking forward to is that I saw like theories on how they did it, but I wonder if they actually explain because the original God of War like saga, I
mhm,
guess you could say, um was very Greek mythology. And if you like, you know
mhm.
me, I love my Greek mythology. I name all my
Oh yeah,
D&D
all
characters
your
after
D&D
Greek gods.
characters are Greek heroes or whatever.
Yeah, I love my Greek mythology. And I I'm I wonder how they make the transition from like Greek mythology
Mhm,
to Norse mythology. And the way I saw TikToks like briefly get into it, it's like people were saying like the gods are based in their regions. So
mhm.
like that was like, where Greek mythology was like what, Greece, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, it was like a god, like the original God of War saga was like in Greece, and now for like in the new one he's like in Norway, right? Because that's like Vikings and
yeah.
shit. Yeah,
He's
so he's
he's
like
way
in the
up north.
Norway area, and then because they said something about like the Egyptian gods, and they're like, oh, maybe like in Africa there's a. I'm kind of like being vague because it's been a while, but the point is like there's different gods in different regions, and they all have control of their stuff. So I'm like, oh, that's cool. Like if they're really like expanding the world like that. But I'm curious to see how they what the explanation was between like Zeus, Hades, Apollo, all these big
Mhm.
hitters, Poseidon, and then now you're just fighting fucking Thor and Loki and them all. So I'm like, okay, I want to see this.
I would say that I just checked, and the 2018 is located in ancient Scandinavia. So
Mm-hmm.
that's a fun thing, which is like Northern Europe. So he went far. He traveled.
Mm-hmm.
He was like, I'm done with Zeus and all these bullshit Grecian motherfuckers, and I'm gonna go up north, find some lady, have a kid, and be up in like Scandinavia. So you know what? Respect to him. And I think that there you watched is kind of, they don't go into it, but I feel like it's kind of like in the air that their different gods have like different regions they control.
Uh-huh.
And I don't know if their powers like equate to each other, like if they're just like, you know what, we could all destroy each other, so let's just stick to our area.
Mm-hmm.
But there are definitely like mini realms and planes within planes. So I think it is kind of established in the game, like, oh yeah, if he went on to Egypt, he could meet like Egyptian gods and stuff.
Mm-hmm. And I find that concept really cool because,
Hmm.
like, let's say because they're clearly doing a trilogy. Let's
Hmm.
say Kratos is officially dead. This is all speculation. I've never
Hmm.
played Ragnarok. I don't. I don't have a review coding. I
Yeah,
don't. I want to make that very clear.
you're basing this
Um.
off of like what little information you have.
Yeah. Let's say because it's clear they're gonna make a God of War 3. Whether that
Hmm.
comes out on the PS5 or PS6 is yet to be told. But let's say Kratos dies at the end of God of War, whatever it's gonna be called.
Hmm.
Let's say just say God of War 3 for the sake of conversation. Uh, and then I know he has a son. Like, let's say they're like, fuck it, it's gonna be something, whatever, and it's his story now, and he's going to Egypt now. Now he's going to like the Americas. He's
Hmm.
going to South America. Oh, that is the Americas. But like he's he's doing that, like fighting gods or whatever. I could see them like
Hmm.
expanding outward.
That'd be very funny if they're just like, and that's why there's no gods anymore in our world because Kratos
They
killed
just
them all.
killed them all.
And that's why we don't have like Zeus walking around now because Kratos just killed every god in existence, which I could see him doing. I want to read that fan fiction. I'll read that. Somebody drop it in the comments. But yeah, I mean, shout out if I could see Eritreus becoming like his son, being like,
Mhm.
you know what, I'm gonna take on my father's legacy. I'm gonna go kill
I'm a
some
pick.
gods. Like, what's Horus up to? Like, you down to die? Just shoot a little arrow, pew, let's kill him. But that'd be cool. I could see that. I think it'd be very interesting. Their relationship is very interesting because I won't spoil things because since you haven't
Mhm.
played the game, but I think it's clear from like common knowledge that they have a very like difficult relationship, and that's largely from it's very much this thing where like your father figure is not only away and not really dealing with you, but
Mhm.
also you built up who they are in your head so much that when you meet them, it's just like it's a weird thing. It's like
Mhm.
I never really knew you, and now all of a sudden you're back in my life. Like, what do you want? No, my
Mhm.
mom's dead. Okay, well now I have to stick with this person that I don't think loves me, and I've kind of resented for never being there for me, which is
Mhm.
something that I could see with Kratos because he lost a wife and child in Greece, right?
Yeah, that's the whole that
Mhm.
sets everything into motion.
And
Sure.
that's like Kratos has to like learn to express care for his son, which is hard for him because the gods have taken away so much and his own actions have taken away so much from him that he has to kind of like learn to like navigate this new relationship with his son. And I think that's a very interesting story. And 2018 definitely was like the first step in exploring their relationship. And based on did you watch the trailer for Ragnarok
I
or did
saw a
you like
few
avoid
where it's
it?
like they're fighting the giant wolf, right?
Mhm. Well, some of the dialogue is like them fighting more, and I think it's interesting because he looks up maybe like a year or two aged up, how they
Mhm.
explore their relationship now. Because in the first game he was like an angry 12-year-old, and now he looks like an angry 15-year-old. And everyone knows 15-year-olds are idiots and assholes. They can be. So I think it'll be interesting to see how their relationship works in this game,
Mhm.
which I'm very excited by because the story and gameplay of 2018 God of War was really good on both fronts. So
Mhm.
I'm really excited to see where they take it.
Same here. Same.
And
Um,
mhm,
anything else do you want to add on with God of War? Because I think there's really not too much I could really other than like I'm excited for it. This like was
mhm.
enough for me to pull the trigger and be like, okay, I'm gonna cave in. I'm gonna buy a PlayStation.
I think we should both manipulate friend of the show Rudy into buying a PlayStation 5 and just like push him to buy it and then just go over to his house all the time and play on it.
You know, if anything, too, I'd recommend for
Mhm.
you. I'd say get the discless PS5.
See, that's my thing. I know the discless PS5 slash Xbox Series X. I know they're both
Mm.
cheaper, but I just love having those physical CD copies. I love them. You don't understand. I put them on my shelf. I think they're all nice. Like I have Xbox 360, PlayStation 2, PSP, Wii, like on
I
my
get that.
shelf. Like I have them. I want to show them off. Like I like having the physical disc. Like
I
there's
get
just
no.
something about it I need.
I 100% get that. I think for me,
Mhm.
I've only bought fuck. I like physical games. I
Mhm.
hardly buy, and I think the last physical game was maybe Disco Elysium.
Mhm.
Everyone said it was a great game. Didn't like it. Uh,
Sacre bleu.
uh, but like the only time now, like, because I just don't have space.
Mhm.
See, you'll run into that problem eventually. Um,
Oh, well, let me say I only buy games I really know I want. Like, let me give you an example. My Xbox 360 games I have: Assassin's Creed, Black Flag, BioShock Infinite,
mm,
Tomb Raider, Arkham City. You know what I mean? Like these are
mm.
just hits after hits. I don't buy something I'm unsure of. I buy something I know is gonna be a smashing hit.
Okay, okay, okay. Because yeah, I think the last like one I bought in inch,
Mhm.
but I bought it was a collector's edition for Dragon Ball Z Kakarot because it
Mhm.
came with the statue, which I broke off a piece and I can't find it, so I'm really sad about that
Oh,
now.
I'm sorry.
But it's all good. It's all good. It came with the statue and it came with the hard like metal copy. And then I
Mhm.
think I went to GameStop and I found a metal case for Gears of War 4 and I bought that for like $10.
Mhm.
And then
When you buy
there
the
were
physical versions, or is it do you buy it more so for the novelty of the physical version
mm,
rather than the actual game?
yeah, like I only buy it kind of like if you notice a trend now, like if it comes with
Mhm.
like something good and kind of like you like if I really like the game, you know.
Mhm.
But I think the last time I was like actually willingly paid for a game full price was when I bought Hades because I was like because I literally bought that game
Mhm.
like three fucking times or I something like that. I
Oh
bought it on the
no.
Switch and then I bought it on my Xbox because it was on Game Pass. And so I bought it twice, two or three times. But that's how much I love that game. So when it came out on Xbox, I was like, "Fuck yeah! I want to. I love this game so much." and I was
Mhm.
like, I'm gonna buy it because I want to support them as much as I can.
You know what? I respect that.
By the way, go play Hades if you haven't. One of the best games ever made.
Yeah, go play Hades. I've never played it, but it looks fun.
It's a
That's
lot of fun. I
I
love it. I have nothing but good things to say about that game.
I feel like that's my response to a lot of video game. If anybody asks me anything, they're just like, "Have you played that?" And I'd just be like, "No," but it looks like a lot of fun. Like, like I can say that about Persona right now. I've never played Persona, but it looks like a lot of fun.
It is. It is.
But
Um,
yeah, go ahead.
go for it.
I was about to say that if we're done talking about video games, we did mention that we got all these reviews on Twitter popping off about God of War. Let's talk
Yeah.
about Twitter kind of popping off a cliff right now. What's going on with that?
Yeah. Okay, so
That's called a
I, I'm
transition. Ooh,
I'm very like I don't think we talked about this in the podcast, have we?
we
About
have
my
not.
verification.
I think we
Well, we
might
talked
have
about me
mentioned
being
it.
verified,
We
but
jokingly talked about it.
okay. So
Mhm.
just for the namesakes, I got verified on Twitter, maybe like
Hooray!
a week and a half. Well, we've mentioned that part. We've mentioned
Yeah.
that part, but like a week and a half before Musk uh the purchase was finalized between Elon Musk and Twitter. And for those who don't know,
Hmm.
Elon Musk and the Twitter as a company were in a back and forth. They're about to go to court because Elon Musk said he was gonna buy Twitter for like 40 billion, like a
Hmm.
ludicrous amount, and then last second pulled out. Twitter, I'm giving you a whole rundown. I'm giving you a quick rundown. Twitter was like, fuck you, that's illegal. Took him to court, and right before they went to court, he bought the company. And
Hmm.
then as soon as he bought the company, he was like, he fired pretty much all the executives. He said he got rid of them all.
Hmm.
Started tweeting some controversial stuff, even some like misinformation. And then he said he's gonna start charging $20 a month for Twitter verification. And
Hmm.
I was just like, "Are you fucking kidding me? I literally just got verified on Twitter." And now he said he was gonna charge $8 and anyone could get verified. So there's a lot of like in the games Twitter sphere and like of the journalism sphere of
Hmm.
Twitter, everyone's afraid because they're like, bro, like this is dangerous. Like Twitter verification, like it's cool that I have this blue check mark, but like I would never ever say like again, this is an example. I don't condone this, but I would never say like January 6th never or
Yeah.
anything like that. Because like I last thing I need is for someone to be like, look, he's a verified journalist. He's one of us. Kind of like I would never do that. And now a lot of things it's like there's gonna be potentially problems like this where people make fake accounts, get verified,
Hmm.
and like they could tweet some shit pretending to be Biden. And then next thing you know, it's a next scandal and somebody gets severely hurt. So
Yeah, because lots of time people don't exactly look at the username. You could easily change
uh-huh,
your name to like Elon Musk and put the verification, and somebody wouldn't read the username and see like Noah
mm,
Garcia. You just be like, "Oh, Elon Musk said this," and people sometimes they don't have time to think or research into things. So if you see a tweet
mhm,
about news, you're just like, "Oh, a shooting happened," and then you see the check, you assume it's from a verified source.
yeah. And that's the argument being made is like this is
Mhm.
gonna hurt a lot of people in one way or another, like and what's even crazy was this happened yesterday. Let me pull up the IGN thing really quick.
And I would just
um
say, as you pull it up, I would say I've already seen people like I don't know if it's available for purchase already, but I've seen people like demonstrate how harmful it is. People with already that have checks, they change their name to like I don't know, like Henry Cavill, and they just be like movies coming out next year, and just like if you don't pay attention to the name, you can be very easily fooled and be like, oh,
yeah,
that's this person.
so yeah, I found it. Like yeah, to even
Hmm.
kind of like going out, one of the editors at IGN jokingly tweeted, "Hey, give me a company to make fun of to impersonate before I lose my verification."
Hmm.
Because that's what people are gonna do, you know.
Hmm.
I told him Chick-fil-A because I thought it'd be funny, but but okay. So yesterday, Elon Musk laid off 3,700 employees,
Hmm.
and he is now being sued. So apparently, California law, if there's a massive layoff like that, you have to give them like a 60-day notice. So you got you if it's a massive layoff, like half the company or whatever,
Hmm.
you have to let them know ahead of time. And so that way, that's just basic humane shit, If like you're gonna get laid off, better to know so that way you can start preparing him. You know, these people got families and shit. And he's being sued for that now because he didn't give them a 60-day heads up. And he
Hmm.
did tweet out something along the lines of like, yeah, I just got rid of a lot of people, but I gave them 3 months salary. I'm like, what the fuck is that gonna do after you just fired them? Like that's maybe gonna help for a little bit, but like, come on, dude.
I think it's crazy because I feel like people are starting to realize they're either falling into the oh my god, this guy is an actual idiot, like they're waking up to the fact that Elon Musk is an idiot, or they're like falling deeper into like, oh, this is all part of his plan, like he's gonna revitalize
Mm-hmm.
Twitter, like finally he can give voices and verifications to those who need it, and it's just that man is a dumbass.
Yeah, like
Pe-
I've
People
never
think that
oh
you need to be smart and intelligent to have money. No, you do not.
no.
What were you about to
What
say?
pisses me off is like he's like a
Mhm.
straight like nepotism. I'm just gonna talk shit about Elon right now.
You know what? This is
Um,
the Elon shit talking podcast now.
yeah, like he's just like a straight nepotism kid. Like, he didn't, and it irks me because like
Hmm.
he wasn't the founder of Tesla.
Hmm.
He bought Tesla from somebody and then he bought the title of like founder CEO from them. So that way if anyone asked him, he'd be like, yeah, I invented Tesla, this and that. Like that's so eerie. And like I believe fuck, I could be wrong on it. Could be wrong. So take what I'm about to say right now with a grain of salt. But like his family was like involved in like blood diamond trade or something like that. It was something like that. And
I believe
it's
it.
just yeah, and it just goes to prove like I was literally talking to my friend about this last people assume Elon is smart. Like I used to like Elon until I started learning about him. And then like people assume he's a smart guy because he's the head of a tech. And
Hmm.
like, you know, if you work in tech, the general consensus is smart. Like look at our buddy Kevin. Kevin works in tech. He is a smart guy. It's just like that, you know?
Hmm.
And Elon Musk is I think it just goes to prove too, like just because you have all this money doesn't make you a fucking doesn't make you smart. Like he's clearly showing like how like you know no offense to anyone right now, but how fucking stupid he is. You know?
I You don't have to be smart to make money. Honestly, just have to have a personality, and sometimes that personality is shit and it's cutthroat. And frankly,
Hmm.
I could see him as the type of person that's just taken a lot of advantage of a lot of other smarter people's work, and he just knew how
Hmm.
to play the system and play the right moves. I mean, the best joke I've seen online is that people were saying, "Oh, people were talking shit about Elon on Twitter, so he wanted to buy it so he could shut them out." And I think
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
very funny.
That that whole thing is just like yeah. I'm just bummed out too because like since I got verified, like I've already I think I talked to you about this. I don't know. Again,
Hmm.
I'm sorry if I said this on the podcast already, but like I've saw the immediate benefits. You know, like I got more people in the industry in the gaming industry following me. I even like indie games following
Hmm.
me on Twitter, PR companies. I've seen the immediate benefit, and I'm just like, fucking a. Like as soon as I got something I really needed, it's like being stripped away from me.
You know, maybe you getting verified was a sign. I should have known everything was falling apart.
Yeah,
You should. It was too good to be true.
yeah. That's the sad truth.
I. It's very funny. I want to talk about a Twitter interaction that I thought was very fun. Have you heard of the guy this guy Hank Green?
I know what you're going with this. Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
so I'm gonna Elon tweeted out. He said Twitter has had a massive drop in revenue, which is true. It didn't do well last year due to activist groups pressuring advertiser, even though nothing has changed with content moderation, and we did everything we could to appease activists. Extremely messed up. They're trying to destroy free speech in America. And then Hank Green responded, "You tweeted a conspiracy theory from a website less credible than the National Enquirer like 4 days ago. We need to look inward as well as outward." Like saying, like, it's not just exterior factors, it's also
Mhm.
within the company. And then Elon Musk responded, "And therefore Twitter should die?" Like, not giving a, like, what? No, that's not what he said. And then Hank Green responds, Oh, of course not. It's just too simple to attribute this quote activists when advertisers who have lots of incentives to be cautious are given reasons to be cautious. You wield a lot of power, and it would be very good for Twitter for you to do more about it thoughtfully. And Elon Musk responded, Hank, try a Google search. Like he didn't, this man's a
He didn't even
dumbass.
read it. Yeah, he
He
didn't
didn't even
even
read
read what
it.
he said.
He doesn't try a Google search. And then it's just, I don't know. It's funny how much Twitter's just become a part of our lives.
Uh
Like
huh.
it started out as a place you could like advertise and shit post, and now like presidents are making like declarations on it. Like major companies are like telling employees they're being laid off, and it's insane how much Twitter has become like ingrained into our daily lives and society. It's insane.
Yeah.
Like remember when Trump would just give out like orders on Twitter?
Yes. Just
Like no press conference, just like I'm gonna do this, and
I
then press.
remember
Mhm,
there was like a week where he was like straight firing staff members every day of the week on
mhm.
Twitter.
Which is just it's insane. Twitter is like, how do you think Twitter is gonna survive this, or do you think it's gonna fall? Do you think something's gonna replace it? What do you think?
Fuck. Okay, so I have a few theories.
Okay.
I think me personally, I think it's gonna go in.
Mhm,
Um, but here's some floating theories I've seen. I think it's gonna go under, and I've already seen a lot of like people talk about. I even made an account for this website. It's called Mastodon.
mhm,
It
like
was
the
like
dinosaur.
Mastodon. Yeah, it was Mastodon. I seen people jumping to that, and
I only know that because of Power Rangers.
it
Mastodon!
was it was Mastodon and co-host.
Uh-huh,
I've seen people talk like getting already jumping ship to those, so people are already looking for an out. But I think that's probably gonna happen. Or they're gonna wait for the next big Twitter, for the next Silicon Valley fucking
mhm.
smug person to come up with something. And but yeah, that's what I think is gonna happen. But here's the other theory.
Okay, tell me.
Um,
Lay it
so
on me.
I saw something. I think it was like by the Washington Post.
Mhm,
There's like 40. There's like no more than like 450,000 verified users. It's like a
mhm,
little bit below that. And let's say if all of them were to pay the $8, they would it would not be enough because Elon spent like 48 billion on Twitter, I believe, something along those
mhm,
lines. And he's like in like he quickly realized, at least this is what reports suggest. Quickly realized, oh fuck, this was a dumb purchase. Why did I do this? Because Twitter has been losing money year after year,
mhm,
and I think it's if this happens, it's gonna become a cesspool. It's gonna become like another like 4chan or another like the outskirts of like Reddit, where it's like those
mhm.
like I think it's that's gonna happen, or this is what's gonna happen. He's gonna go public with the company again and just leave. Like sell a bunch of his shares and get the fuck out because he's like, okay, I need to mitigate all this money that I spent.
I
That's what I think.
well, first of all, I would say I just realized that one of your pet peeves is ego.
Uh huh.
And you have a great hatred for anyone with even a little bit of ego, and I just realized that right now. So I'm glad that I'm so humble and smart
Shut
and
the fuck
attractive,
up.
so happy for that. Second of all, I feel bad for everyone on Twitter that makes a living because I do follow some, artists who work off a commission that advertise on Twitter, or
Mm-hmm.
like videographers or journalists that post their like resume on Twitter, because it has become like a really great site for people to be exposed to other people in their industries, in their
Mm-hmm.
subcultures. So I would say it sucks for them. I feel really bad. I think Tumblr is
It,
apparently allowing nudes again, so I think we should all
I
go
saw
back
that.
to Tumblr. I've been on Tumblr this whole time. I usually just follow a lot of comic book stuff, but let's all just jump over to Tumblr. We can be our cringy selves again. But third
Eh,
thing I have to say is that I don't know that he does have such he has such an ego. I don't know if he'd let it go because I think in his mind he'd be like, "Oh, then the common folk can hold it over my head forever." Know what I mean? So
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if he'd let it go that easy. He kind of dug himself this grave, and he's like he has one foot in the ground, and I don't really know what he's gonna do, but whatever he does, it's going to try to make him look good. That's all I know.
I really wonder
Mhm.
what like Republicans are thinking about him because like I told you I follow a few like Republican figures and like Republican news outlets on
Mhm.
social media, and I've seen like Ben Shapiro, like for starters, they could all go fuck themselves, by the way.
Mhm.
Uh, but like I saw like Ben Shapiro like tweet out like, "Oh, look at him, he owned Alexandria Ocasio Cortez," um, by saying "pay me money" and this and that, and I'm like,
Oh my
and
god.
then I've seen like Fox News like praise him, and I was like, "Look at him, he's like getting rid of all like what Twitter, like how they're shutting us down, blah blah blah," and I'm just like, and that's the thing too. How that, I'm not gonna get too much into this, but it's like it pisses me off that like a lot of these right wing outlets, like, are either they know it and they're just being ignorant because it gets them clicks, views, whatever. But they're just time and time again spreading fucking neo-Nazi propaganda or like fascist shit. Where it's like
Mhm.
I've seen like fuck, what's his name? Not Tucker. It's another whatever.
Another
But
white
they're
guy.
like, yeah. He was like
Alex
the
Jones?
Mexicans. No, not Alex Jones. He's friends. He's what? It's not important. Not
All I
important.
know is that you said the Mexicans.
Yeah, no, yeah. This is because this is what he said. He was like, "There's these Mexicans. They're coming for you," and I'm like, "Fuck, do you mean by that?" You know, like,
What, can you expand on that? Like, what are you talking
yeah,
about?
like they're coming, and I'm like that. The way in which you say, but that's just an example of like some shit that they spew. I'm like, you guys are just so you know. Like, say what you will about
Mhm.
CNN, say what you will about the Times. Yes, they get stuff wrong, but they would never say some shit like that.
They would like never blatantly say hate speech out loud.
Hmm.
And I just want to talk about the Elon AOC interaction on Twitter. I pulled it up.
That shit was fucking hilarious, by the
I
way.
I just
Team
love
AOC all the
mm,
way.
honestly, whether or not you like her, I don't see how she failed in this interaction. So there's lots of going on, but I'll jump on this point. He posted a picture of like her merch, and it's like $58, and he like posted like a questioning emoji, like "What's this?" And then she responded, "My workers are union, have full health care benefits like childcare help. Everyone's paid a living wage." And you're a union buster with an ego problem who pockets change from underpaying and mistreating people. And then that was so funny because people were like, "Oh, Elon owned you." And then lots of people were responding his own merch, which is like $30 more than hers.
What? I didn't see that part.
Yeah,
That's fucking
somebody a
hilarious.
Tesla chill crew neck sweatshirt is $75 compared to her
Ah,
58. And I think that's just I mean, if what she says is true, that it's made in America, it gives people a livable wage. The thing is that when you
it's
sell
everything you want in
things,
a job.
yeah, it's everything you want in a job. But the thing about this is, let's say it's $10 for an item, and if you want to make if break even, sell $10. If you want to make profit on that, you need to have it more. So let's say we double it to $20, right? So it's $20 a sweatshirt. Well, the thing about that is that I'm not going to go into fucking market. But if you want these extra expenditures, such as paying people a livable wage, healthcare, you need to put your prices up. So I understand that why it's expensive.
Uh huh.
So it's weird to be like, oh, well, look at how high her sweater costs. Yeah, because she's paying a lot of people and it's being produced in the U.S. and making
She
things in the
back her
U.S. is
shit up.
expensive. Yeah, so I understand not liking her, but that was an argument I feel like he didn't really have anything to stand on.
Hmm.
So it was just so funny. It was so funny because there's a lot of people in the comments talking shit, and I'm just like, I don't know. Like people are posting a lot of pictures from Tesla's own shop, and it's like a hoodie, $115, another hoodie, $90, next sweatshirt, 75. So like a lot of people are clapping back with fucking Elon stuff, and it's very funny.
And you know, it's funny. Like I've seen like Twitter meme accounts like defend the verification
Mhm.
thing. They're like, "Oh, you guys are verified people, but you write for outlets that no one
Mhm.
even knows about. You're irrelevant." And I'm just like, I'm sorry. I just needed to say that. I know it
No,
really had
you
nothing
say
to.
that.
I just have to say that.
No, we're on the topic of Twitter. We can talk about it. It's just it's the thing is that whether or not more often than not, whether or not you have a large audience, if you're reporting the news and you seem credible, then the whole point of the verification system is to say, hey, look, this person is credible in some way. They are credible
Uh-huh.
in their field, they're credible in their industry, they're well known, and they're not like trying to spread information. They're just trying to do a job. Because
Mhm.
there are, of course, there are people that have like 90 million followers that are verified, and of course, there are like people with 200 followers getting verified. But it's just different. They have different roles
Mhm.
on Twitter.
Mhm.
But the moment we allow those roles to whoever wants them, it's can get chaotic. Because I
Mhm.
understand trying to be like, oh look, now people that are ignored by the system can have a voice and get noticed. But how do you differentiate who are the people that are trying to spread good information and help, and those that are just
Mhm.
trying to fuck with everyone?
Yeah, that's just yeah. But you know what? I think I said this on
Mhm.
the podcast. I don't. Again, I'm sorry if I'm repeating information. I'm just gonna kind of shift lanes into a more lighthearted thing.
Yeah, yeah. Let's.
Um, I haven't wrote a news story in like a month.
Mhm,
It's been a month and some change since I wrote a news story, and that's because I've been insanely busy with IGN,
mhm,
and I'm going to be insanely busy with them again in a couple of days. And I was like, "Fuck, man! Like, it's been like a month. I don't want to like lose my edge because it's like you don't use it, you lose it, kind of thing."
mhm.
And I finally got back into writing some news stories. This week I wrote 4 stories. I
Oh
was really
wow.
proud of myself just because like I was like, okay, like one, I made some extra money on the side on top of what I'm making with IGN. And then two, I was like, you know what? I always get in my head, like
Mhm,
it's just because like I've explained this a lot to you. Like we talked about this like on like what like we're afraid of. I'm always afraid I'm gonna lose my position. I'm always
mhm,
afraid that like as quick as I got into this industry is as quick as I'm gonna get out, like something's gonna happen to me. So I have to be good. I like anything less than fucking stellar is unacceptable in my eyes, which is a little bad thing, by the way. It's
mhm,
really bad, I should say. You should, and I wrote these news stories and I was like I wrote two on Halo, I wrote one on Ubisoft, and I wrote another on Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope, which is ironic because I was working on the guide for that.
mhm.
And I was like, huh, like it was just that reassurance I got again. I was like, okay, like I'm not a bad writer, you
Yeah,
know?
you reminded yourself that, oh, I can do this.
Yeah, I was like, I can do this. This is great. And like what was even cool was that I can't view like too much of the analytics, but like I could see how many people like read my story within a certain time frame, and I just saw like the number like whoo, and
Mhm.
I was like, for audio listeners, I just like did a thumbs up. Well, this is only audio podcast, but I gestured as like a thumbs up. And yeah, I saw like a fuck ton of people reading it.
Mhm,
Like people have comments on my story, and like even if people are like saying, "Oh, this is bullshit. Why is this
mhm.
video game doing that?" And I'm like, you know what? This is cool that like I've inspired, like I sparked a conversation.
Yeah.
People are yeah, and I was just like, "Ah, man, this is why I do." You know?
Yeah, I because the thing is, like, we're not in it for the views. We're in it because this is a subject we care about. But whenever you
Hmm.
do see things get really good numbers, it's like a little boost. It's like a little, oh,
Yeah,
that's
a little
nice. Oh my god,
like pat on the
yeah,
back, like good
pat on
job.
the shoulder. I get that. Like whenever I've seen a story that hit like a couple views, or like I have a TikTok that hits like a good amount of numbers, I'm like, oh okay. Oh my gosh. Oh, people saw it. Like I get a little giddy. Like, if I see people have seen a story I've written, I'm like, "Oh my gosh." It sounds silly, but it's like a nice little thing.
Yeah, and I was just doing that,
Mhm,
and I was like, there was a few stories I passed up on, but I was
mhm,
like, okay, I like this. I'm cool with this. I even talked to like a few of my editors at GameSpot, and I
mhm.
was like, "Hey guys, like I'm still here. I've just been insanely busy doing work other places." And they're like, "Don't trip. Like we know
Mhm.
you're working just like all the other freelancers. This is the only place you're working at, so
Yeah.
don't trip."
Yeah, they
So that was nice
understood the
too.
freelancing
Uh huh.
life.
Freelancing life, fucking, it's exhausting.
If you were offered a stable position at one of the places you work at, would you take it or would you prefer the freelancing?
Oh, 110%, hundred and
Mhm,
ten percent would take it. Like I even like jokingly said to Elizabeth, my girlfriend. I was like, I think I'm gonna swallow my pride and just like work for like a lesser outlet because I've gotten like a handful of job offers.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna name names, but like other like C-list websites have like come up to me and they're like, "Hey, we're gonna offer you this much money, but you write exclusively for us." And I passed up on all of them. I was like, "No, no,
Mm-hmm.
no, I'm not. I don't want to do that." And my reasoning behind that is because I was like, one, again, I don't want to. I'm not naming names, so but I'm not. I don't want to talk shit on these websites, but like I'm working with IGN and I'm working at GameSpot. Like IGN is like arguably the biggest video game outlet in the world, and GameSpot is like close behind them. So I'm like I'm working with some of like the biggest
Mm-hmm.
giants in the industry, and I figured the exposure I'm getting here it would be a lot more beneficial than is me working with you guys and getting like a
Mm-hmm.
steady paycheck. It's like risk reward kind of thing, you know?
Yeah, I understand that, which I think is
So yeah.
interesting because it could very much result in someone from those major companies going, "Hey, you do consistent work, let's bring you on," which I think is like
Mhm,
the ultimate dream. But then it could also be like, we like that you're freelance, we'll keep you here. And if you went down and
mhm,
worked for like an outlet that doesn't have as much as an audience as some others, but you do consistent
mhm,
good work there, people will still notice and people will be like, "Oh, that guy does good consistent work." And then maybe that could one day elevate you up because people notice people in smaller markets all the time and want to bring them up because they're like, "Hey, I like what you're doing. Come over here to my team and do what you're doing
mhm.
here." So it's very much like a play by ear type of industry. Like, what decision should I make? Should I go this way? Should I go that way? And I think
Yeah.
keeping it safe for now is a smart move.
Yeah, and like I already have plans to like set in motion at
Hmm.
the end of this year, beginning of next year. Like
Evil
to
plans.
yeah, exactly. I have plans that I'm going to set in motion, and they can easily get shot down. As easy as I
Hmm.
pitch them, they can just get immediately shot down. But if these plans get picked up, I will what's it called? I think it would like it would help me a lot to getting hired within that year.
Hmm.
So I'm not gonna say what it is right now, just because anything could happen from now to then, because it's still like another 2 3 months. But if I get the approval from of what I'm about to pitch, because the thing is, too, like again, I work with IGN and I work at GameSpot, so one says no, I'm gonna go to the other, and
Hmm.
hopefully they say yeah.
I will release Lewis's plans early. He's gonna buy G4. He's gonna buy it. He's gonna buy that, and
For
it's
pennies
gonna
on the dollar.
for pennies. It's gonna be for 30 pesos actually, not even American currency. He's gonna
Damn.
buy it for 30 pesos, and it's gonna be renamed the Lewis Network, and it's gonna be awful. It's just gonna be bad. But you know what? Bad in a good way, if you know what I mean. But I don't know. I love that you're able to pitch these ideas and stuff. I hate the rejection of pitches. Like for
Mhm,
instance, I'm working with this charity organization out in Orange County, and I pitched two ideas, and one was like a real video segment, and the other was a podcast. And I was clearly more interested in the podcast idea, but they didn't even mention it in like the follow up meeting. They're just like, "Yeah, we love the real idea," and then like after talking for 10 minutes, I was just like, "Oh, so what do you think of the podcast?" And then my boss's face was like, "Oh, we don't really see we don't." We don't think that's feasible right now with the time period we're in. It's just something. And I was just like, oh, well, I'll still do it because I need and want the work, but okay. And I know I really do. I admire how like aggressive, not aggressive, but like how bold you are in your
Thank
projects to
you.
like pitch like guides and stories and stuff. Because I've been rejected a lot. Like just for instance, I read for a school publication and I pitched a story about graduation fees, and I pitched it and I didn't hear anything for a week, and I was like, okay,
Oh,
you could text me, you guys could email me and tell me no. I didn't hear anything, and then I'm scrolling through Instagram and I see the story up and somebody else already wrote it, and I was like, just tell me no. Why did I have to find out on Instagram that somebody else already wrote the story? And I was annoyed, but it was whatever. So stuff like that just gets me down too much. But
Mhm.
I appreciate that you can make pitches and be like, oh, it didn't work. Well, I'll just pitch again. Like I like that quality of you as a writer.
Thank you, thank you. Yeah, what hurts the most is that there's like there's like pitches in particular like I'm confident in. I'm like they're gonna say yes. This is easy money in the bag. This ain't even me. This is I hardly qualify. This as work. And then they're like, no. I'm like, fuck. Those are the ones that hurt the most because because
Uh-huh.
like me and my girlfriend her desk like here's like right next to mine. So
Mhm.
I'll be reading email. I'm like, fuck, and she'll be like, what? And I'm like, oh my, I thought I had this in the bag, and but there's been certain pitches. I remember I explained this to my
Mhm.
friend, and he was like genuinely like kind of blown away. For here, I'm gonna help some fellow freelancers right now.
All right. If you're
So
freelancing, take out a notebook and start writing this down.
yeah, what I did for one of these games that was coming out, it's called Marauders. It's a looter shooter game. It's on the PC. I was like super excited to play this game. I covered it in a it was like a showcase. I talked about it,
Mhm.
and as I talked about it, I was like, okay. I wrote down notes of what I liked about it, and then I looked up. I went on Google Trends and I saw how many people were talking about it and looking at it.
Mhm.
And then I went to my editor. I was like, "Hey, look at this game coming out. Uh, it's the Google Trends. The searches have fucking shot up since this.
Mhm.
People are tweeting about it. The game's XYZ. Uh, the I could have this guide, and you got to sound confident. And if you say this part right here, what I just said, keep to your fucking word. Um, I told him I was like, I can have this guide done within a week, and they're like, oh shit, okay. And I had it done within the week. I did all that, and I got a nice little paycheck out of that.
Oh, nice.
But yeah, if you're gonna say that last part, like if you say like I could have this done within like X amount of time,
Mhm.
you get it done.
Yeah,
You get it done within that time frame.
you better deliver.
Uh huh.
Because then those editors are going to be like, oh wow, not only can this person like suggest ideas, they can produce the content within the time frame they promised, and that stays in the back of their head. So when they're like, oh, I see a game, it needs to be out, who do we have on it? Well, Lewis did this other day, we can probably give it to him and he'll do it, you know. So it's just, it's good to do those type of things because it helps build your reputation within those who are above you.
Yeah. But I think that's really kind of all that I have to talk
Mhm.
about. Do you have anything you'd like to talk about?
No, not at all. But
I
you know
I'm
what I do have to
glad
talk
people ask.
about? Where you can find us online. Lewis, where
Oh
can
yeah,
people find you?
people can find me on Instagram and Twitter at I'm Luis Gutierrez. You know, it's me on Twitter if you see the blue check mark.
Mm. Oh, you just froze. Oh
Uh,
no. Oh no. Oh no. I'm gonna have to edit this out. Oh no. I'm gonna have to edit. In the
I
jungle with the mighty Oh, you're back.
like I was saying, this may age like milk, but my verification is still active on Twitter that I will not pay for. Is not paid for. Okay. Um, you can follow me on Twitch. I stream Friday through Sunday. Twitch.tv/ I'm Joshua Joestar. And then you can follow me on TikTok at I'm Joshua Joestar.
You can follow me at Noah is Garcia on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. And you can follow my photography works at Noah Garcia _photography. I'll post there eventually. And if you want to check out my writing, you can maybe somewhat kind of sort of find it on thedaily49er.com. Thank you for listening.
Later,
Bye.
Gators.
Bye. See you wild crocodiles.